I want to read to you a few facts about the state of Indiana right now. And when I say state of Indiana, I mean the status of Hoosier land. Right now, our median household income is about $4,500 behind the national average. Our unemployment rate has been above the national average now for 17 straight months. Beyond the economics, though, there's a lot of leading indicators that are very disturbing about where we're at right now. We're 47th in infant mortality. 22% of Hoosier girls between the ages of 6 and 17 are living below the poverty line. And the wage gap between what women make and what the average man makes puts us at the 6th worst in the nation. And we've now had 5 straight years where every month we've had at least 250,000 Hoosiers drawing unemployment benefits. Ladies and gentlemen, the nation has not been doing well in recent years. Indiana has been doing significantly worse. And it's time to face up to the fact that the economic policies of recent years are not working, and they're not making Indiana more prosperous. Now, that starts with admitting that we have problems, and it starts with realizing that we need to change in course. But unfortunately, what is already dominating the 2014 legislative session is this ugly and divisive debate on marriage equality. It has to stop, and it has to stop today. And for that reason, I'm going to call on Speaker Bosma to announce that he is not even going to assign the resolution to a committee and take it off the table immediately so we can focus on the real issues that are facing Indiana. I want to say that I'm with him in his understanding of the difficulty of this issue. Under Speaker Bauer, I held up this constitutional ban on marriage equality 3 different times. Once we voted it down, 2 times I put it in the trash can. And I did that because, along with the Speaker Bauer at that time, because we knew that society and the state of Indiana needed more time to decide how they felt about the issue. And people needed, and by people I mean lawmakers, needed time to hear from their constituents and to grasp the nuances of their changing perspectives. Now, what I would say to the Speaker is I know this is difficult, but I did it and lived to tell about it. He can do it and live to tell about it. Once he does it, he'll feel better about it, and he'll realize that we'll be able to face the difficulties that Indiana faces, tackle our obstacles, understand that we'll have different approaches to these problems, but the people of Indiana and you, the media, and the Republican supermajorities and Governor Pence will be able to focus on the task at hand. That's my message to you today. It's my message to the Speaker. Let's set it aside and let's move on and let's start to change some of these statistics. So not only will people want to come to Indiana, but the people who already live here, and most importantly our best and brightest, the kids who are graduating from college right now, are going to want to stay in Indiana because they know that we're a common sense, tolerant, and forward-looking state. And that will be good for our state if we can finally set this aside. Leader Lanane.
Thank you, Leader Pelath. I totally agree with you. I'm glad you brought up what I've sort of been referring to now as the elephant in the room, which is the marriage amendment. And I applaud your call for the Speaker, and I would do the same on the Senate side for the pro tem to the extent that he can, to urge us to set that issue aside. Yesterday we talked about whether it was the most important issue or not. But one thing you and I agree upon, and I think many people agree upon, is that it's the most divisive issue that is out there. And you've just enumerated so many issues here that are more urgent and pressing, and they're staring us right in the face. 41st in the nation in per capita income is in and of itself something that we need to tackle right away. But a couple other things that you didn't mention that unfortunately are out there as well too. You look at the meth scourge that exists throughout our state. You look at the fact that this morning in my local paper there was a story about the fact that neonatal addiction problems have become epidemic, and that a interim study committee has urged us to immediately act on that issue. So all these issues of urgency out there, we should set aside this divisive debate over the so-called marriage amendment and really get to work on these problems that are staring us right in the face. We have an agenda, a positive agenda that we think we should be working on, and number one on that agenda is early childhood education. We know that in terms of addressing the issues of per capita income in the state of Indiana, it's a long-term problem. And studies have shown that kids who have the opportunity to have meaningful early childhood education not only do better in school as they go along, they're less likely to need remediation, they do better in life as well. They earn an average of $160,000 over the time of a lifetime, more than kids who don't. So why aren't we focusing in on those real issues? The issues that people, when I talk to people on all ends of the political spectrum, say to me, don't you have more important things, urgent things to deal with? Now let me say this about this being an important issue though, because I don't want to downplay this. You know, every issue we deal with, Scott, they talk about it's the most important issue to somebody. And I tell you what, if you're a person who's having their rights taken away by virtue of this divisive issue, it is an important issue. It may be the most important issue. And you know, this issue's been around for a while now, 8 years, and in 8 years, I think I've never seen the public attitude on an issue change so much over time. And I think it would be a courageous thing for us to do now to simply say, let's get on with the urgent issues that really are facing us. Let's deal with those. Let's set aside this divisive issue. There's another matter here too, and that is the fact that this proposed amendment is not even written correctly. It goes way beyond just simply banning so-called gay marriage, which, by the way, we have a law that says right now defines who may marry whom. Goes beyond that and would bar future generations from considering the idea of even a civil union. And I think that's where this proposal goes from anything close to being just merely divisive to being radical at that point in time. So, I say, I agree with you, Leader Pelath. Let's get on to the real problems that face the state of Indiana. Let's get an agenda out there that will address those issues. Let's raise the per capita income for the state of Indiana. Let's do something to enact meaningful early childhood education for the future of our children here, and let's get some things done.